Welcome to Duality Gamecast, the show for people who love to play games.
In today's Quick Hit episode, we're going to be looking at Bear Valley. So let's get to the table and have Matt show us how it plays.
Bear Valley is a game for 2 to 6 players. Players are hikers exploring the woods, trying to find a path to lead them from their base camp to the second camp on the map. First player to arrive in camp wins. Along their journey, they will explore the land, discover items, and face challenges, including the deadly bear. Bear Valley has a unique action mechanic. Each turn, you have unlimited actions in a push-your-luck style. You will call out hours for every play you make. Each play you make can be one of two things. It could be exploring a new tile by discovering a card from the deck and adding it to the map in a brick stacking fashion. As long as there is an exit on the new card that matches up with your current card, you can continue on with further action. The other play is to traverse from one explored tile to another. Actions represent hours. Each action you take will begin by calling out an hour, beginning with 1 o'clock. After 1 o'clock, you could call out 2 o'clock and reveal a tile, and then continue calling out 3 o'clock to reveal another tile. Oh no, it's the bear! Now there are mechanics in the game that will cause you to stop or even lose your turn by getting lost. The bear, for instance, at 2 o'clock or beyond, forces you to stop your turn. At 7 o'clock or beyond, the bear will actually eat you, removing you from the game. As you explore, you may discover tiles that have gear on them, or even enchantments, such as mushrooms, a picnic basket, a fox, or butterflies. Enchanted tiles can give you a special bonus when you begin your turn on them. There are many obstacles and special terrain tiles, such as caves, mountains, hedges, and lakes. You may also discover helpful gear, like flashlights, machetes, rope, or a telescope. You may also find gold. Gold can be used to trade at the trading post. You can get new gear there. If you find 3 gold and return to the starting camp, you could win the game in an alternate victory condition.
Yeah! Alright, so that's how the game works. But Matt, how's it play for you?
Bear Valley is really unique. It's a push-your-luck game at its core, which I kind of like push-your-luck games. You don't really see a lot of those. I mean, the one that immediately comes to my mind is always ink and gold. So that's kind of my measuring stick for push-your-luck games. This is much more unique. Like, I haven't really seen a game that works this way. And I think that's because it's from Carl Chudik, the man who did Innovation and Matanai, however you say that, and I think Glory to Rome. Yeah, he works out some really interesting games, but he puts his own unique spin on the mechanics. They always stand out that way. But this is not like any of his other games that I've played.
No.
So, you know, the theme is obviously the hikers trying to make their way through the forest to the other camp. We don't know why. Maybe it's to get the medicine to save them from the zombie plague. They're also not helping each other.
That's like a whole other level to this game.
Right?
Okay.
Zombie bears. They're also not, they're competing against each other. It's a race game. And the action mechanic is really unique. So you have unlimited actions on your turn, potentially, which is where the push your luck comes into.
Yeah.
Each action you take is an hour of the day. So first one's 1 o'clock, next 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, so on. And after 2 o'clock, it becomes the push your luck part of the game.
Yeah.
So if you're at 3 o'clock and you explore a new tile, you flip it over. If it has exactly 3 exits on it, you got lost. So you showed that tile, but you don't get to move. 4 o'clock, 4 exits, etc., etc. And then after 7 o'clock and on, if you flip the bear tile, normally the bear just makes you stop and you lose your turn basically. But at 7 o'clock and beyond, he eats you. It's got player elimination in the game, which I think we've maybe seen happen one time. Also, on the flip side, at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, there are special rules. So at 1 o'clock, if you run into the bear, you can sneak past him and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
At 2 o'clock, if you run into a dead end, which can happen when the tiles don't line up right, you push through the dead end and show up on the next tile and then stop your turn. So you don't quite lose your turn that way. So it's a little unique because you're flipping these cards and you're also stacking them in this brick kind of
everything's
orthogonal brick formation, which took me a minute. We did it wrong at first, but we figured it out. So everything's stacking, but yeah, like you said, it's a structure. You can't just go over here and over here kind of thing. There's a lot of unique rules, like you can't share a path with other players, but there are some tiles that have like a bridge going over the path. One guy can be on the path and one guy can be on the bridge. So that kind of breaks that rule. Then there are the enchanted tiles, which give you a bonus if you start your turn in them. Mm-hmm. The mushrooms let you flip a different tile if you didn't like the one you got. One of them lets you ignore the push your luck rule for the turn. There's a bunch of those. I think it's a really neat game. My biggest struggle with this game was the rule book.
Yes.
The rule book for what should be a light medium game, I'd probably call it.
I think, it's very light.
Yeah, light to light medium, not medium. It's a really thick rule book, and the organization and some of the wording in it is a challenge. I scratched my head on a couple things for a while, and I was searching. Now I don't think it's a problem. I think I kind of know what all the tiles do. Mm-hmm. But the first 5 games, you're not really sure on some of the tiles, and you want to look them up. And they're not organized in an easy to spot way. And for instance, the equipment tiles and the enchantment tiles are kind of in different layouts in different parts of the rule book from also the character abilities, because every character has their own special bonus and drawback. So it's a great idea. I enjoy playing it. I'm really glad I know how it works now. My biggest blow against it was slogging through the rule book and making sure I understood the wording, because Carl Chudik has an interesting view on things. He always puts his own spin on things, but I think that comes with maybe not the most straightforward explanations of things.
Yeah, I agree. To me, the hardest, the drawback to this game is the rule books, or the rule book. There's not multiples of them. Yeah. I know that we play this tons of times, and I still have a question almost every time we play. And it's not a hard game. You literally go action 1, action 2, action 3, I'm good. Yeah. And something I don't know if you specify or not is that you're revealing tiles, but if you reveal a bear or some other something that causes problems, your character doesn't move. Yeah, it's like you've explored those areas, but you haven't actually left camps yet, or you go back to camp. So pushing your luck not only is kind of a detriment to you, it also opens up the game for other players. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things that I've seen that kind of threw us a little bit. The gold mechanic in the game. Yeah. You're flipping over tiles at random, or cards in this case, and if they have certain icons, you put that little marker on it. If you get, is it 3 gold? 3 gold. If you get 3 gold and you go back to camp, you win the game.
The original camp, yeah.
The original camp, which is automatically a path that goes all the way back, because that's how the game basically works. There's one of the games we played where I flipped over 2 tiles, there was a gold, so I moved there. Next turn, I flipped over a gold tile. Next turn, I flipped over a gold tile. I walked back to camp and won. Yeah. And there's that type of stuff where, because this is a push your luck game and because it's completely random, but there's no organizing of the deck beforehand, you can get weird things where stuff just kind of chains together well. And then other times you can get stuff where, for instance, there's caves. You can only go in caves if you have a flashlight. There might be 3 caves on the map, and you haven't ran across a single flashlight yet, so that tile is basically kind of dead, or just a normal tile. So there's some stuff that I don't know how you do with a basic card game that'd be neat. Maybe if I'm sure someone will eventually come up with like an app or something that tells you how to like group cards or do something like they do a lot of deck building games, something like that maybe will help just like smooth that out. But mechanic wise, the push your luck element is kind of fun, and I think that's what salvages this game for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we played before where someone basically every time you hit water, you have to stop.
Yeah.
So someone ran and got to the camp, but they were on the other side of the river, and we're like, well, they're automatically going to win next turn because they're just going to walk across this bridge.
Yeah.
And I just went for it. Hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, hour 4, hour 5, hour 6, like what I normally would not do. Made it all the way to camp and stole the win on the push your luck thing, and it's those moments which all of us were like, yeah! As I flipped over the cards, it was exciting. But we played this quite a few times, and I only feel like that moment's only happened once or twice.
Yeah, the crazy push your luck doesn't come up a lot because there seems to be a lot of situations where you stop. Like you stop because you have to pick up equipment or activate enchanted tiles by starting there. So you're gonna want to stop a lot of times. Like, I need that machete, or I want to activate the fox ability. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop here, even though I probably could push my luck. So there are mechanics in the game that I guess sort of discourage really going crazy. Other thing I would add is this game varies a lot by player count.
Yes.
Like when you did the crazy pick up 3 gold and run back to the base camp for the alternate victory condition, that was us just doing a 2-player.
Yeah, and it happened a couple games almost in a row where not right after another, but I got gold right really quick.
But then when you throw a higher player count into the mix, there's a lot more interference and different tiles distribution, like more tiles coming up, more people picking up the equipment or the gold. And so it really changes the flavor to the point where I would probably prefer not to play 2-player, to be honest.
I agree. I think that probably has something to do with the push your luck mechanic because it adds a lot of variance to a game.
Yeah.
And in a 2-player game, a lot of variance means one person's just going to get lucky and win most of the time. Where at least in a 4-player game, if someone gets ahead, everyone else can try to mess with them a little bit. And I think that's also kind of thinking a little bit more here. That's what the push your luck mechanic is in this game. It's a catch-up mechanic. It's a oh no, that person's been plugging along correctly and playing the game right. I've been running off in the wrong direction, or I've gotten stuck somewhere. I got to make this happen. It's not like a lot of push your luck games where I feel like you're like a lot of push your luck games like Ink and Gold. You're going for more points.
Yeah.
In this one, I feel like you're going for to catch up. Yeah. And so it has a different feel for it. And that part of it's really fun.
Yeah. So what do you think about the art and component quality?
So, in all honesty, the art's kind of for me. The character cards are all kind of maybe computer graphics, or I don't know what is. They look a little funny to me. Look a little bit like they're done on a Photoshop type painting, but not like a brushwork type. More like, I don't know. It has some look to it that kind of sticks out a little bit to me. I'd say the actual tiles for the terrain, I really like the look of. It's clean, it's simple, but there's enough there. It feels good. It's my personal opinion, but the fact that you flip over a card and there's just a big bear face on it, that could have been cooler if it was a bear. Like a whole bear just or just on the card.
Instead of a bear head. It's kind of abstract.
Yeah, it's kind of abstract. I mean, even the stuff like the fox. The fox is, they call them enchanted tile. Yeah. Like it's a fox and it has sparkles around it. It's just kind of photoshopped over the top of it. Yeah. So it's not bad art and it's easy to see what it is. I just wish they had gone a little bit more and maybe felt a little bit more engrossed with the art. I don't know. But the other components are fine. The little wood meeples are good, though. I think does it not come with one of them?
No, I got shorted.
Okay, so it was just a printer.
Okay.
Okay, so we can that's just by chance. The chits are good. The gold. I mean, all the components are good, and the art is not bad. It's just not graphically laid out the way I would have liked it, I think. How about you?
Kind of similar feelings. I like the general path tiles. I think they're very nice and serviceable. The card quality, by the way, is very good too.
Yes.
I do get what you say about the special tiles. They just sort of dropped a graphic on top of their nice forest tiles, and that feels a little Photoshop-y. unfinished,
Mhm.
right? I honestly would have preferred they went for a little more portrait, I don't know what you call that, photorealistic kind of look
Yeah.
for it. So like the bear is a bear and it looks like it belongs on this card. But I guess for quick reference, you spot it and go, that's the tile with the telescope on it, that's the tile with the bear on it, and that certainly stands out.
Mm-hmm.
But there was probably a middle ground there where they could have made it look a little more thematic and not as just shockingly stamp a bear head on a tile.
Yeah, it just looks a little prototypey, I guess, is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, or old video gamey maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know. The character card art is totally serviceable. The graphic layout in general is fine. The only layout problem I have with this whole game is the rulebook. Things are just not in an order that makes a whole lot of sense to me, and the wording, definitely there's some sentence structure there where you're kind of like, what? Huh? I'll tell you, what I'm thinking about. If you look at the cover, that's an awesome bear.
Yeah.
If they had just done it like this with all the card art, it would have knocked it up several notches for me.
Yeah, or just the bear alone, because it's called Bear Valley.
Yeah.
The whole idea here is that there's some bears out there and you're scared of them.
Yeah.
And then, because in all honesty, yeah, it's a nitpicky thing, but it's just to me that would have changed the game. I think almost like how I feel about it. So
Price point wise, I'm just jumping in real quick. Price point wise, I get it. Like, this is not an uber deluxe game. This is meant to be a simple portable card game with some components. So I forgive a lot because of that, because it is a fun game and it's a decent price point. So I kind of get the art situation.
what do you think about the 15 to 30 minute game time on the front of the box? Does that sound about right to you?
Sometimes
It's definitely not a long game.
Yeah, and you do have those push your luck games where it might even be shorter.
Right. I mean, it could almost be the first turn that you get there if someone just gets a lucky streak. Very rarely happens, I'm sure, because it hasn't happened to us yet. All right. What do you think is your rating for this? That's good rating, Matt.
I'm gonna go with like it. It's not a must buy, although it is a very good price point. But I did have fun with it. I get what they're doing. It's a push your luck your game, which there really aren't a lot of current push your luck games. You don't see them a lot. So I get it. It's fun. I prefer, I think, a higher player count for sure. And there is kind of getting over a little bit of a learning hump with the rule book. That's what's keeping it a like it for me and not higher than that. How about you?
I'm going to go with the like it also. Kind of echoing your same thing, same statements. For me, the graphic aspect of it, if they had done a little bit more of the art, I think that alone would have bumped it up maybe for me. The rules, and just it has a slight clunkiness to it, and it feels like it's not actually a mechanic problem with the game. It's the explanation and the way it's just kind of handled. It seems like you could reword the instructions, maybe change a couple terms, and the game might flow smoother. And just I feel like there's a good game here. I just feel like it hasn't. There's something holding it back from being a great game.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's our quick review of Bear Valley. Appreciate you guys watching, and thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Are you ready? You should sit down and look pretty. No, pretty. No, pretty. You just sit there.